Good evening, Dr. Engel and colleagues. I am here to present the report for the effectiveness of corrective reading. What is corrective reading? Corrective reading is a program used for intervention for students who need foundational skills and gaps filled in. It is designed to be used every day for an hour. 50 minutes is doable as well. The curriculum is scripted to make sure that the delivery is in the correct way that the program was designed. There are 4 different levels that students are screened into, and the lessons are leveled based on where the student screens into and the needs that they present in that screening. Once students are screened, teachers and staff are trained. They must be trained to be able to work with this program. And the corrective reading program provides a trainer for the schools that use it that are able to come out and model lessons. They visit periodically to walk through, make sure lessons are being done as they're designed, answering questions for any of the trained staff that are using it, and making sure that everything is working the way it needs to be. So why corrective reading? During the 21-22 school year, 127 of the 331 students at North Lakeland Elementary in grades 3 through 5th showed severe reading deficits. In 3rd grade alone, 44 students were retained based on the FSA from last year. So district supervisors implemented corrective reading this year at North Lakeland Elementary to help fill foundational gaps and to see if they could build up the students' reading success to proficiency. So using the corrective reading program, it will help to provide intervention to meet the objectives, provide an increase in reading growth to decrease 3rd grade retention, provide quality instruction to increase school achievement levels, and provide phonetic lessons to help increase decoding skills, which in turn will help with the fluency and then hopefully lead to comprehension. So the 2 primary evaluation questions I had were: how effective is corrective reading based on administration and teacher use and implementation? And what obstacles could prevent corrective reading from being effective in improving reading data? So the evaluation design, there are 9 trained people at North Lakeland Elementary right now. They were all given the survey voluntarily, and 8 of them replied to it. So you can see that that was 89%. And then I did a breakdown of the different positions that were surveyed. So we had administration, reading coach, classroom teachers, paras, and then ESE support teachers. And so in that survey, there were 7 forced questions, things like I was trained in corrective reading, which 100% agree, because you have to be trained to be able to work with this program. And then I feel my training was effective. There was a strong agree for that. So that showed that the training was did well in teaching them how to give this program to students and use this program. I feel I'm effective in teaching this program. We had a strong agree, which shows that the training did what it needed to do to teach the trainers how to teach the students these lessons and these targeted skills. And then question 4 said the program targets the needs of my students. Again, another strongly agree, which is hopeful for the program being used and doing its job and creating that growth and success for students. My students are making progress. There was a little bit of a difference here. There was some minimal, and then there are barriers, of course, that any program provides or has, and that will be addressed later on. I feel that this is a great program for students with foundational reading needs. Mostly agree and strongly agree, which is what this program is intended for. It's intended for those students that have gaps in the foundational skills and deficits that need to be built. And then this program effectively covers all areas needed for students in the program. All areas was slim. Moderate amount seemed to have the most. So the students are screened in and then they're leveled, but sometimes the students, it's seen, that are not quite able to all be at the level that they screened into due to some things like not having enough trainers and stuff like that. So a level the student may be in may not provide everything that that student needs at that moment. And then the two forced or the two open-ended questions. One was what was the biggest obstacles for corrective reading? And a lot of the responses included absences in attendance, both for teachers and for students. That is definitely one big barrier when you're doing a scripted program that is every day. When the students are absent a lot, they're not gaining the skills, so therefore you will not see the progress that is being made. Routines. Corrective reading is scripted, and they have routines for answering and for tracking, and teaching those routines and making sure that they are in place and the students are following them could also be an obstacle. Pace, because it's supposed to be an hour, we do only have 50 minutes inside the block that was used, and so sometimes the lessons did not always get finished. So trying to keep on pace of what was needed and provided was seen as an obstacle. Same thing with the time. The diversity of levels kind of hit with the not having everything the students need because of only having 9 trained staff. There's not a lot of leadway of groups that are able to be used, so sometimes students were put in the closest level that they had, so therefore they were not able to have their own set. And that could be hard when you're teaching really needy students that have a lot of gaps versus ones that you're just filling in a couple of things. And then class size, again, because there's not enough trainers, class sizes are bigger than would like to see. And then the second one was needed to make corrective reading. What was needed to make corrective reading effective at your school? More trained staff, obviously. Only 9 does not provide a lot of time to, or a lot of ability to have all the groups that are needed. Time, not having a full hour to meet the needs of all the lessons that are the way they are scripted. Modeling of lessons, a couple of staff members said that they would like to have had more full models modeled before they jumped into teaching. And then buy-in for teacher and students. Some students just are not wanting to participate, and then those absences with teachers not seeing the buy-in of needing to be there and be able to really give their students what they need for this program. And then smaller class size as well, being able to have a smaller number of students that you can really target the needs of that level for. So based on what was seen, corrective reading shows to be an effective program to be used. Trained staff feel that they're effective in providing the lessons and students, and it shows that there is a good amount of growth that students are having. And so overall, corrective reading seems to show the effectiveness it needs to fill in gaps to help increase students' foundational needs and success. And then some recommendations based on the survey results that were made. A couple of recommendations would be the increase of this trained staff. I know one thing that was talked about was making more teachers trained next year and support staff being trained to help utilize grades 3 through 5th, so more students can participate as well. Utilize the school-provided trainer to model full lessons. Seeing if the trainer can come out more often so that they are able to actually show lessons at the very beginning, especially. And then incentives for attendance, and that's for teachers and for students, and making sure that they see the reason why this program is needed and why they need to be there to be a part of it. So that is what corrective reading is, and that is the results of the survey. Thank you.